Hello and welcome back. I am on one today. If you don't know me, let me do that part. My name is Johnna. I am an evidence-based life coach and I help individuals figure out who the fuck they are, learn how to accept who that person is, and learn to love and trust that person. So I am starting to do these daily blogs. This is like the second one, and I'm just spitballing like what I have going on in my personal life and some thoughts that I hope resonate with you today that have been valuable for me in this journey that we call life. And so yesterday I talked about, allowing yourself to feel safe to receive. And I mentioned that, maybe today we'll talk about why it is so difficult for me and people to receive. And, something else that came up for me, and we'll talk about this too, is self-abandonment. And so let's dive in. Why is it so difficult for people to receive? So oftentimes, if we don't have our needs met whenever we were growing up, or if there was like a prolonged experience, or even like one that just really left like a big imprint on us, then we feel that our expectations and our needs can't be met. And so therefore it's not safe to want things, right? Like it's not safe for us to say like, well, you know, I want to have like a healthy relationship, even though, consciously we want it, viscerally on a subconscious level, we might not feel that it's safe for us to have it because maybe in the past that need wasn't met. Like something wasn't, we haven't had like a true, like secure, like healthy attachment, or that hasn't been like what we primarily look for in romantic partnerships because that wasn't our love map growing up. And so it could also look like something where, we have these limited beliefs. Let's say if you were always told that people who have money are like assholes, then you might not feel like you can receive and safely ask for, a big paycheck. And so things like that. So somewhere along the way, and they're all like different, like circumstantial. And so I'm not saying that like those two are the ones that are going to be like specific for you. However, I am saying that there are limited beliefs that have been created in the past based on experiences. And with that, we now no longer feel that it is safe to ask for things and receive them because we think that, something bad's going to come from it. Like if we want something, then we're going to be like let down because it's not going to actually come to fruition like we had hoped. And these devices served us at some point, right? So don't like get down on yourself if you're realizing like, oh shit, that's me. We learn these things as a means of survival. So let's take it to my personal experience in terms of emotional neglect. And I'm not saying like my parents were great, they loved me. And at the same time, there would be stints where they just were emotionally unavailable. And it became something where I was like, well, I don't need anyone. I'm independent. Like it was safer for me to not need anything because in not needing anything, I wouldn't be hurt when that expectation of that need wasn't met. I wouldn't be hurt when I was let down. I wouldn't be as hurt with emotional neglect. Like I just kind of would numb out. And so that was how I coped based on like, what I had to do in the moment in order to survive in a way that wouldn't cause me discomfort and pain because I didn't know how to do anything else. And so now that translates to fast forward, me not necessarily, accepting things or being comfortable to ask for things because I fear that while consciously I know, like, yes, I need support and I need these things and I want these things, viscerally, the body keeps the score. Great book if you haven't read it. The body keeps a score, and what my body knows on a primal level is, oh, well, we've done this before, we've been down this road and that didn't work out well for us. So yeah, like we know like consciously what you want, but subconsciously we know better kind of thing, because 95 to 98% of everything you do is on a subconscious level. That is how your body keeps energy. It looks for patterns like your brain. And so you've really only got 2 to 5% of like your conscious mind that is going to be like driving the ship at any given time. And with that being said, it is the intention and the practice of being mindful. That's why you hear so much about mindfulness. That's what that means, like being mindful and like present at like all times to like what the reality of the current situation is and what your lens is that you're looking through based on your personal experience. So all that's to say that that's why it is sometimes not safe to receive. And this looks like self-abandonment. And this is something that is abandoning your needs because you have them and you're not attending to them. So if you hear about like any inner child work, then same thing, like you have like an unhealed wound. There's an unhealed part of yourself. And when you don't give yourself what you need, when you abandon yourself and like what those needs are, then you are put in a position where you're not aiding in your healing. You are just kind of like prolonging like the current state. And not to say that, that's like the end of the world, but that is why one of the reasons could be why, you feel stuck or you feel just kind of blah. And it is a matter of, again, the mindfulness getting present and doing things to advocate for yourself to switch that and to start to create a new sense of self and to heal these wounds and to create like a new identity. And so one of the ways that we abandon ourselves, oh, that's my little dog. You haven't heard him cough, I don't think. He'll be done in a second. He's got a collapsing trachea. Poor little guy. Okay. Okay. Well, this is real life, baby. So anywho, as I was saying, yeah, he's good. So as I was saying, ways that we abandon ourselves by not advocating for our needs and asking for what we want. So for example, if something is bothering you and you just like sit on your feelings, there's a difference between being patient and just like stuffing it all down because it's inconvenient for someone. When you don't express anger for certain things that deserve to be angry about, you can be angry. It's okay. It's permitted. It's allowed. It's encouraged. It is encouraged to feel the feels. Like don't do anything destructive, but do feel what you are feeling and name that emotion. Another way that we self-abandon is by asking others to love us. So if someone is like a dick to you and you continue to try to like reach out to them. Now, it is one thing to be compassionate and to be loving and to create a safe space. And it is another to continue to be rejected and to continue to try to fix things if the other person isn't giving you anything to work with and you're just trying to like vie for their attention. You're abandoning yourself because you're trying to convince someone of your self-worth. Mm-mm, mm-mm. And I speak from experience. One of my friends pointed this out to me just this morning. And it was something where I was like, oh, because one of my core values is integrity. When people are in alignment with what they say and their actions align with that. So when people actually do what they say. And one of the things that I have experienced as of recent is just this like hypocritical individual from what I see. And their invitation to me was to look at myself and see like how I was doing that. Because by me continuing to try to be nice and like loving and supportive and like, caring, I was abandoning myself and my feelings when I should be pissed about the situation, or I could be pissed about the situation. It's a situation to be pissed about. And so that was hypocritical of me being out of integrity with who I am, because in an attempt to be like the good person or, this loving, like caring individual, it's a situation where we oftentimes try to put ourselves, lower and lift others up. And that's beautiful. And at the same time, it's something where when you do that, when you suppress yourself, when you abandon who you are and how you actually feel, and when you say, no, like I'm not actually mad, I don't really feel angry, like I just feel sad, which is what I'm doing. I just, I care, then I'm denying and like being out of integrity with who I am. And sometimes it takes someone holding a mirror up and being like, look, bitch, for you to recognize like, oh shit, that's true. And my response to them was, well, I just don't have the energy to be angry. And they were like, it doesn't necessarily take energy to be angry. You can say like, yeah, I'm pissed about that and acknowledge that feeling without actually having to like fucking break a dish or, like get stressed out, because that shit causes gray hairs. So you don't have to do it, but you can acknowledge that the feeling exists. And so these are all things that are going on inside of my head today and inside of my awareness. And I wanted to bring them to you in hopes that you might get some type of an awareness and mindfulness around, oh, why am I not feeling comfortable receiving? Or are you comfortable receiving? Maybe you are. And just to get curious and to start to like become more aware of where you ask for help, where you actually tell people like, hey, yeah, like when someone asks if you're good, are you like, yeah, I'm good? Or are you actually like, no, like it's been a shitty day? Are you honest with yourself? Are you abandoning yourself by just telling them like, nope, everything's fine. Like, I don't need to talk about this. And notice the difference, because sometimes you don't necessarily need to tell certain people everything, but there are certain people that you should share some things with and that you need to share some things with, even if that person is yourself. So if that means taking out a journal and doing a brain dump, which is one of my favorite things to do, actually haven't done it today, I'm going to do it for sure. And what that looks like is just taking like a piece of paper. I have a journal, but putting away like all your distractions and just free flow stream of consciousness, like getting everything out. Sometimes it might look like a to-do list. Sometimes it might look like, the situation with this person, really makes me feel this way, whatever. But that is one way to do it. Another thing, because I know personally for me, like a lot of my clients are like, I'm not a writer, which I get. You can also do a video so that you can see your expression, you can see your emotion. You don't have to show it to anyone. You can delete it. You can hide it in your hidden albums if you want, with all the other stuff. All the other stuff. I'm just kidding. I don't know your life. Um, you could do a voice note, which I also like to do. Like if you're driving, especially, just use your voice memo and start talking about like, this just happened, like I'm pissed, or like, I'm really excited, this feels great, if it's like a positive emotion that you want to remember. And so that's also, I mean, we can talk about that, like positive psychology is my jam, but just taking these emotions and feeling them, whether it be, ones where you're sad, like the heavier, like lower vibration emotions, or whether it be like the happier emotions as well, because sometimes we don't always celebrate our happiness. And we can talk about your negativity bias and like why that is. But suffice it to say for today, your invitation from me is to, number one, consider if you are comfortable receiving or giving, which one feels better to you, and start to, get curious about why, either way. So if you're more comfortable giving or receiving, and then number two, are you abandoning yourself? And if so, how? You might want to use a note on your phone to kind of keep track of this. You might just want to be mindful of it as you move about your day, your week, the rest of your life, whatever. But those are my invitations for you to recognize if you're more comfortable giving or receiving and why, and then also where you might be abandoning yourself. So that's what I have for you. I hope that this was helpful. Definitely let me know either in the comments or by sliding into my DMs or on Instagram. Soul Searching and Squats is where I hang out. That is my most favorite place on the internet. So do find me and follow me there, and share this with someone if you think that it would be helpful. Thumbs up it, like it, sign up for the notifications, do all the things, please. And I will see you next time. Thank you and have an amazing day.